Welcome to the Army Football Podcast. This is another season here talking Black Knights football following a 10-win season in the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy. I'm here with my co-host, as always, Steve Anderson. Steve, it's good to be back talking some Army football.
The best time of year, Sal. We can talk Army football. We watch them on Saturdays. Super excited about the season. I know week one didn't go as planned. But I think there's some good takeaways from it. Kind of woke us up a little bit, makes us understand that, this year's team is not last year's team. Good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. But bottom line is Coach Munk's going to figure out how to win. I think we just got some rust knocked off, and I think we're going to bounce back in our home opener against Liberty.
Yeah, to start the season on the road against Duke, a good ACC team with a bunch of experienced players. Duke has played Army the last 3 years. They really found a way to slow down the option offense. So when Duke puts up 34 points on the board, you just had a feeling that Army just couldn't get it going in the first half with a new quarterback, a new offensive line, and I guess Steve, when you on the second play when you lose a fumble, that didn't help either. So,
well. The bottom line is, starting the season off like that hurts. It kind of is a gut shot. But, it's no different from any other year with any other team. Although we had more turnovers, when turnovers happen matter just as much as just getting an actual turnover. So, punch in the gut on that. And, we talk about time of possession and protecting the ball. And I think Army just fell short in those two categories with what you like to have with the triple option as far as time of possession. And, there's more than a couple areas that, it's not, obviously it's never just the offense. Obviously you want to put up more than 14 points, but, you're giving up 34. It's going to be tough to win. Unless it's a shootout game. And like you mentioned, Duke knows the triple option now. They've recruited some coaches that have some experience defending the triple option. They run a special defense, and playing Army, a team they know, as the first game gives them an extra advantage of practicing longer against the triple option. And it showed. The team was prepared.
Yeah, no doubt. They've altered the rule for cut blocking this year, Steve, where you're only allowed to block within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, against where you used to be able to block downfield. You still have to try to block at 10-2, with the defender's body. Watching that game, I didn't really see that impact the game so much, but Coach Monken brought it up in his press conference, this week that, some coaches want to get rid of, cut blocking entirely, and then that might be the cause of the demise of the option football in college. Did you see it playing a role? And he said that his offensive linemen were a little gun shy in going for cut blocks. Talking to Jackson Deaton, he says you just got to be smarter and just got to make sure the guys in front of you within that box that they talk about. So
yeah, anytime there's a rule change, players are going to be hesitant. You saw last night in the NFL. A bunch of penalties. Guys adjusting to the new rules. Early in the season, but great teams adapt, and I think it's exactly what he said. Guys just, instead of just instinctively blocking like they've been blocking the past 4 or 5 years, however long they've been running the triple option, or however long they've been blocking that a certain way, now they're saying, well, we're going to penalize you for doing it now. So the great players adapt, but yes, it's going to create hesitation, especially the big clubs up front that have mastered that type of blocking. So I actually understand that. Although maybe we didn't, it wasn't visually seen as far as we weren't penalized a lot for it, or guys were making the cut blocks at the right time. I think where we possibly could have seen it is, although they weren't penalized, making blocks. We're used to blocking and springing those running backs past that first 5 yards where they can accelerate and really take off downfield. And I think that's where, if you review the film, and of course I don't have that capability, I think, I think there could be an argument to where there's a couple blocks out there, more than a couple, that if guys weren't hesitant and just blocking like they always have, I think there could have been a couple more runs that were sprung free and got some good chunks in yardage.
It's a great point, because the longest run by Army in that game, Steve, was 14 yards. And we know in the triple...
Anytime you rush for under 200 yards in a triple option, regardless if you pass for 200 yards, it doesn't really make a difference. We're not supposed to be a balanced offense. I know Coach Funkin wants to move to a more balanced attack, to where it's less, predictable on what we're going to do. But the bottom line is we're a running football team. That's our bread and butter. We have to establish the run, dominate the run, early and often. And, I don't care, if we do have 200 yards passing and 200 yards rushing. Bottom line is that we have to dominate the run game and the line of scrimmage. And I think the rule change, possibly played a role in it, but I think more so than ever, it was the mentality of the blockers, especially, our running backs are taught to cut block downfield. Our receivers are taught to cut block downfield. So it's all those guys' hesitation, but I think, I think once we get some more reps, it's very early. Offenses always tend to take a little longer to get the timing than the defense, just because defense is something that doesn't require a lot of time. It's more reaction. So I think that's just a point to take away from it.
Just real quickly, when you looked at the Army's effort on defense against Duke, what did you see? Because there were times where the Army was making stops behind the line of scrimmage on some quick screen passes, but there were times where Duke just they ran through a lot of tackles against Army, and Army gave up a couple big passing plays over the top. That Daniel Jones can throw the ball almost the length of the football field. But what did you see on defense from Army in the first game?
Well, I think, like you said, there's a lot of good takeaways. I think it's consistency at this point. Every play, every down, every play, lining up correctly, getting your eyes on the right key, and then trusting your instincts. And I think we just kind of, like a lot of Army defense in the past, when you start to fall behind in a triple option, you think something special needs to be done. And I think guys got their eyes caught in the wrong places. And, when you have a talented quarterback you're playing against, it'll burn you. And just like with the runs, again, I hate to preach the same thing over and over again with early in the season, but you see a lot of arm tackles. You see, guys not quite putting their face mask on the ball or their shoulder into the gut. And it's not that they don't do it, they're just not consistently doing it at the level that, they know they're capable of doing. And, more so than anything on defense, it wasn't a lack of effort. I think it was just trying to do too much on every single play where, defensively, if you get 11 guys on the same page, everybody's reading the right key, everybody's lined up the right way, everybody knows the defense, then it just comes down to, is this guy better than me across the ball, or is his technique better than me across the ball, rather than trying to do something special. And that's where, historically, Army defenses get burned.
Yeah, I guess to talk about really, a positive of that game, and, some Army fans will be like, oh, no, we're going back to the Todd Berry days of passing the football. But Kelvin Hopkins, in his first college start, looked really comfortable at quarterback. He didn't seem like the moment was too big for him. And, I was asked on on a radio show, how would I grade Kelvin's performance in that game, and I give him a B because I thought he did everything that they asked him to do. He's not Ahmad Bradshaw. He's not going to have the 200-yard rushing games, and stuff like that. But he does bring another dimension to this offense in throwing the ball, Steve, that they haven't had in a long, long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing with having a new quarterback is you have to take, although he seemed like he was there, it was natural. I think the biggest thing is the guys around him, don't make him feel like he has to do too much. Because with a young quarterback and with a new quarterback, you get all the glory and you get all the criticism. And I think he did fine for his first college start, and of course, we're not used to as Army fans is throwing the ball as much and throwing for almost 200 yards. But we just got to remember that it's one game. All right, so let's not overanalyze any of this. Duke was prepared. They played well. They played smart. And they were just the better team on that Saturday. We played Duke again in week 9. There's probably a different outcome, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Whenever you play a team that's used to seeing the triple option early and they have time to, practice against it and get more reps, I mean, that's one of the advantages of triple option is the team only sees that once a year. Again, I think we're fine. I don't think there's anything to change. There's nothing to get all up in arms about. I think we just need to go back, review the film, find out where the mistakes on defense were, because regardless, 34 points is still a lot of points, and then see where on offense we had missed opportunities.
Yeah, I pointed out, in Kelvin Hopkins, just his toughness in that game. I mean, he was getting bounced all over the place. That's what Army quarterbacks, that's part of the job description there. But on the 45-yard touchdown pass to Cam Harrison, he took a helmet-to-helmet hit by a 240-pound linebacker just as he threw it. And, Cam Harrison was wide open, but he got right back up and was ready to go. And that shows you a sign of toughness. Now that we're just to touch on something a little bit off the field right now, I've received a few emails from Army fans and Army grads this week about the whole Nike, I guess you want to call it controversy, with Colin Kaepernick being an ad sponsor. And, a bunch of these, the fans and the grads want to know when Army's going to drop Nike as its apparel or jersey sponsor. I don't know. I just haven't had any conversations with the athletic director, Boo Corrigan, about this as of yet. I don't know if Army would make it a drastic move like that, Steve. But what are your thoughts on the topic?
Well, I think most importantly, we need to remember is that we get all tied up in this emotional controversy that people want to make emotional decisions. At the end of the day, I mean, it's going to be a business decision. Okay? What does Nike provide? What price are they providing it? And what are the competitors willing to do to match that, or, whatever. I mean, I don't think anybody, is just ready to cut swing load and pay more for less or pay less for less. And I don't know all the intricacies of the contract and all that stuff.
Yep.
I know Nike gear is pretty sweet and comfy. I do know that, having been privileged enough to wear it at West Point and wear it, in my personal time. Bottom line is it's not a decision for any of the grads or the people outside looking in to make. They don't have all the information. I think that's one of the biggest things we have to remember, is that when you make a decision, you better have all the facts, especially if the decision is going to be as big as that. around such a controversial topic right now. And then you have to look at the media implications of dropping Nike. So, perception is reality, and if West Point, the United States Military Academy, the premier leadership institution that tells people down their core, tells them how to live as a leader, and we want leaders that don't make emotional decisions, and then we go ahead and West Point does something, doesn't do anything, or doesn't, regardless if they don't do something or they do something, there's going to be some kind of media backlash. And I think if you just talk straight facts, objectively, and stay out of the emotional trap of getting tied up around it, the last thing we need in any program or any organization is distraction. Mm-hmm. And the team will be tested because, as we know, just like most teams, there's a wide range of beliefs, and we can't allow something like this to divide us. And I don't think it will, because it's just not. We don't see, the way most civilians and most people see it as, it has to be this way or that way. I mean, bottom line is that the reason we're in serving is for people to exercise their right to protest, peacefully. I mean, it's literally one of the things we sign up to do is to, protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. And that's one of the first things in the Constitution, and it's the first thing in the Bill of Rights. So, me personally, I don't have an issue with, I think in my opinion, what he's protesting is being drowned out by all the media controversy. And that's why, I would have stopped doing the protest because it was getting the wrong message out there. It wasn't getting the right message out there, And now everybody wants to make the protest about the military or the flag or the disrespect. And that's not what I was trying to get across by my protest. So if you're not hearing what I'm trying to do with my protest, with my actions, then I'm going to change what I'm doing so we do hear what I'm trying to protest, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
And that's just me personally. I don't have an issue with Colin Kaepernick protesting. I mean, that is his right. Just me personally, I would have, if that's what I believe was the right thing to do, then I would have done it. And how the reaction I got from it would determine if I kept doing it, or, okay, this is obviously not working. This is not the message I want to get across. I'm not going to be stubborn and be like, no, it's about this. It's about this. I don't care what you think. I would have changed a different form, or I would have chose a different way of protesting. So the right message was getting out to the right people, and everybody could hear me for what I really, truly, you got to give it to him. I mean, he truly believes in this, and that's fine, and that's good. That is his right. But with it being 2018 and all the media and everybody having a say on every social media platform, through pictures and Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everybody's got an opinion now, and everybody can be heard. I mean, legitimately, a person nobody has known about, he's got his small group of friends, he tweets one thing that the right person likes, and they retweet, and all of a sudden it's viral, and millions of people have seen it. Yeah. So it's a very interesting, dynamic of, every voice being heard, very quickly in a world that you can read something, hit one button, and they can be sent to everybody else. So, I know we're off topic now, but, I don't think anything drastically is going to be done. I think it'll be a business decision at the end of the day, like most organizations have to make, and understand that there's going to be media backlash no matter what decision is made. And as long as they have the facts and look at it objectively, there, and we prevent distraction within the locker room, within the, keep everything, within our formation. I think we'll be square.
Appreciate the insight, Steve. And now we'll move on and just preview Saturday's home opener against Liberty. Liberty look.
Mikey Stadium, baby.
Yeah, you know what?
Mikey Stadium is going to be roaring on Saturday.
No doubt. I mean, this is, 7 straight wins now for Army at Mikey Stadium. So I know we say different teams and different years, but certainly something that's in the, that the team would like to continue to win at home. That was definitely a recipe for success last year with the 6 out of the 10 wins coming at Mikey Stadium. And you look at this Liberty team, they hung 52 on Old Dominion last week, Steve, and shut them out 38-0 in the second half. This team can throw the ball all over the field, maybe more than Duke. They have 3 receivers that are very capable of playing at the next level, possibly, and a quarterback that is it's not his nickname, it's his given middle name, Buckshot. So, I mean, I found that pretty interesting. His dad was a NASCAR fan. I believe the NASCAR driver is Buckshot Jones. I'm not a NASCAR guy at all. I apologize, but it should be another test for the secondary. I look at this, Steve. Right? They got to put some pressure on the quarterback, and they got to make some plays in the secondary.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you gotta stay after him. You can't let him get comfortable in that pocket. You can't give him 4 or 5 seconds to throw the ball. Like you said, 3 talented receivers. A quarterback that knows the system, a quarterback that can throw the ball over the field, left, right, down the middle. So that's key. Getting after the quarterback, not giving him time to throw. But anytime you have a streak of wins at home, and you can gain the mentality and the confidence behind. This is our house. Nobody beats us in our house. These are our fans. They come to watch us play. They love us. We love playing in front of them. We love winning in front of them. It's something more than just winning football games. You are defending a territory, and it becomes powerful. I remember my senior year where we won 1 game at home, and every time we got on a plane and we went somewhere, we won a football game. So that was our recipe for success is let's fly somewhere. We were saying towards the end of the year, let's just take a flight around New York real quick and then land it, and we'll play home games if that's what it takes for us to win a game at home. And we never got to, my senior year, we never got to experience that defend the turf feeling of like, this is our house. Like, we believed it, but we could never, give that. And it's just such a motivator for the core. The core that comes out and watch you play every Saturday at every football game, right? When you can win in front of them, it builds more camaraderie and it builds more relationship, strength with all the people that you're going to eventually serve with and go down range with once you graduate from there.
Yeah, I know. Just talking to the players this week, you say you'll see a quote different Army team this week, and I guess like we've talked about at the beginning of this podcast, it really has to start up front with the offensive line, the running game, and obviously if you're playing a high-powered offense like Liberty, you want to keep them on the sidelines. You want to get those long Army drives that we've been used to over the last couple of years, grind out the clock. You have, Steve, we had talked about, but they have now 5 fullbacks that can run the ball. Sandon McCoy came in as the 5th fullback against Duke and had a couple nice runs. He needs to hold on to the ball a little bit better, but that's he gives the team a 5th option now at fullback, and they got to open it up a little bit on the inside so guys like Kel Walker can gain some chunks on the outside. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, anytime you got depth at the fullback position, the triple option, you're probably setting yourself up for success. I mean, those guys take the most punishment in probably any position. If you don't include offense and defensive line, I mean, those guys battle every single play. But as far as like impact, if you've got 3, 4, 5 backs that can be fresh every single run, I mean, that's just going to wear down the defense. I mean, it's just those same defensive guys are out there. They don't have 5 middle linebackers that can play the same caliber. They don't have 5, strong safeties or outside linebackers that are attacking the dive, play after play after play to where, it's a beating. It's a grind. If there's any position in the triple option that you want depth, I mean, fullback's probably your best bet to have someone there that you can trust. Yeah, I mean, you got to hold on to football if you want to play at this level. Okay, so young buck just needs to hold on to the football better. But we just got to, at the end of the day, these guys have got to remember that, it doesn't take anything special on any given play. It just takes what they've executed thousands and thousands and thousands of times over and over and getting on the same play on every single, and getting on the same page on every single play. And I think, I expect to see the same team from last weekend, but a different mentality. So, you use the old cliche, it's going to be a different team. No, it's the same team, but we're changing our mentality now. So we're now, before we came in and we were confident, but now we're just pissed off. And we need to remind everybody, what Army football is about, how we like to play football, all right, and show that we have the mentality to do something great.
No doubt. And just one quick take on the game coming up from me, and we'll get out of here. Is the kicking game. I mean, last week, Landon Salyers had attempted 2 field goals. Army did not make the 2 field goals, and it's still like a bugaboo for this team, Steve. And if this game comes down to needing a game-winning kick, we'll see what happens. Like we said early in the season, Landon's only a sophomore, and they really need to really have a consistent kicking game, because otherwise we might see Army go for it on 4th down. They go for it a lot, maybe the most in the country. I can't imagine them going for it even more, but I mean, they just have to be able to make, kicks inside of 40 yards, let's say. And, you never know with a game like this. It could come down to that. So that's just something to watch on Saturday. If the kicking game can get some confidence, it would be nice to see the kicking game get some confidence, after a rough week at Duke.
Well, yeah, we got to convert on 3rd down. I mean, we weren't good at converting on 3rd down. It's because we didn't give ourselves triple option 3rd down conversions. We didn't have a lot of 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2s, which was for we say we want to try to get 3 yards a pop. 3 yards a pop. And there's no doubt that we're going to go for it when it, Army football should be able to get 1 yard every time they snap the ball, regardless. You know what I mean? Whether it's 1st and 10 or 4th and 1, we should be able to get 1 yard. That's kind of like a mentality that you have to believe in the triple option. Is if we need 1 yard, we got to be able to get it. So yeah, I mean, kicking game is also critical. Punting and field goals for field position, and then you just having played the game and having been on some teams with some good kickers and bad kickers, it can really suck the life out of a team when we have a chance to put points on the board and we need all the points we can get, and it doesn't happen for us. So kickers just got to get back to work. 1,000 kicks every week, thousands of kicks. Inside of 40, if he's got the leg for it, there's no excuse for it.
Yeah, and I mean, it looked like the first one at 33 certainly had the distance, and the second one, 45, it just all kind of fell apart. The kick got blocked. It didn't get up high enough. So, I mean, that's obviously something to work on for them during practice this week, and we'll see how they... Really interested to see how this team responds against Liberty on Saturday, Steve. Should be a fun game. I got it as a high-scoring game. If you're at Mikey Stadium, if you're at watching on TV, this should be a really good college football game. So we'll see how the Black Knights respond.
That's right. Go Army, beat Liberty.